Mary Lou Norwood, a 1947 graduate of Florida State University, probably summed up the experience of college athletics as well as anyone has when she wrote, quote, "The lifetime rewards for the chosen student athlete include earning a superior education, developing vital skills and abilities, and making enduring friendships with teammates and classmates."
There is a deeper choice that both the female athlete and FSU make. She becomes a part of a legacy of women's athletics more than 100 years old at this institution. Like a runner on a relay team, she holds high the torch that many women have carried aloft through decades. In becoming a Seminole, she commits to honor the torch, to keep it burning, and to pass it on to those who will follow. The choice FSU makes is to select young women with the qualities to do just that. And at FSU, there is not just one torch, there are three. In fact, an entry way back in the 1921 FSCW yearbook reads, "Let no one think because our college is a college for women, or because we do not have intercollegiate athletics, that we do not take an interest in athletics. We try to live up to our college motto, Femina Perfecta, Vires, Artes, Mores, in every respect. We believe God has given us muscle as well as neurons, which He intended us to develop and use."
The 2018 to 2019 athletics season marks the 50th anniversary of women's intercollegiate athletics at Florida State University. But athletic competition on the Tallahassee campus began long before that first FSU women's volleyball match in 1968. Beginning in 1905 at the coeducational Florida State College, continuing to the transition to the women's-only Florida Female College, and throughout the life of the beloved Florida State College for Women, the institution's female students competed in athletics. This year, Florida State celebrates the 50th anniversary of continuous intercollegiate women's athletics, which was made possible because of the foundation of excellence that was planted, and upon which a winning tradition continues to grow. 50 years of women's intercollegiate sport at Florida State have turned the Seminoles into a household name for aspiring female athletes of all ages. Seminole women's teams have won 7 national championships and reached national title matches 5 additional times. They've won individual NCAA championships, been crowned National Player of the Year, won Olympic medals, international championships, set world records, and have made a worldwide impact in a host of professional careers inside and outside of athletics. Today, FSU's female student athlete trains and competes in top-flight facilities amongst the very best coaches and staff. They play in front of impressive crowds, and their talents are covered by media all over the country. It's the environment that was envisioned when FSU's first women's volleyball team took the court in 1968. That year, a group of physical education students and a volunteer faculty coach fielded FSU's first team, and intercollegiate athletics for women began at Florida State. Track and field was added in 1969, while softball, swimming, and basketball were added the following year. In 1974, FSU followed a trend of the time in adopting a logo and a distinct name, Lady Seminoles, that became popular for female sports teams. The move helped to better identify and publicize women's athletics and served as a rallying point for supporters and friends of the school's sports. By 1977, Florida State had 7 women's sports, with tennis moving to intercollegiate status in 1972, women's cross country in 1974, and golf that same year. Florida State's women's sports would stand at 7 for the next 20 years, except for adding indoor competition in track and field, until soccer was added in 1995. It would be another 20 years before beach volleyball became FSU's newest intercollegiate sport. Florida State's women's sports were successful nationally right from the start. Legendary softball coach Joanne Graff led the Seminoles slow pitch teams to back-to-back AIAW national championships in 1981 and 82. Her star player was Darby Cottle, who was the 1982 National Player of the Year. The Seminoles won the national championship in women's golf that same year. FSU's timing couldn't have been better, as that title team poured into the LPGA and further exposed Florida State's program. Track and field picked up the torch in 1984 and 1985 by winning NCAA national championships, while softball earned a berth in the Women's College World Series in 1987. Women's basketball won the Metro Conference Championship in 1991 and advanced to the second round of the NCAA tournament, raising the expectations of the program on a national level. Florida State's entry into the Atlantic Coast Conference in 1992 put the women's sports program on the fields, pools, courts, and courses of the very best programs in the country. National Player of the Year status for Jessica Vanderlinden in softball and Mami Yamaguchi in soccer grabbed headlines, and the women's basketball program's first ever run to the NCAA Sweet 16 in 2007 solidified the Seminoles' national reputation. The swimming and diving program began competition in a new state-of-the-art facility in 2008, the same year that Coach Graff retired as the winningest coach in college softball history. In 2010, basketball came within a game of the Final Four and launched the Seminoles' current position as a perennial NCAA tournament program capable of competing for the national title. Soccer reached that status over the previous 8 seasons before winning the sport's first national championship in 2014. And FSU's future is even brighter. Basketball has finished among the top 15 for the last 4 consecutive seasons. Volleyball is an NCAA regular, and College Cup appearances have become the norm for soccer. Swimming and diving get stronger every year, and track is predicted to compete for this year's national championship. Beach volleyball has played in 2 of the last 3 NCAA national championship matches. Last year, tennis advanced to the NCAA Elite 8 for the first time in school history. Morgan Metro's 5th place finish at the 2018 NCAA Golf Championships is the best individual finish in FSU history. And our softball program's run to the 2018 National Championship won the love and respect of fans nationwide. The first 5 decades of women's intercollegiate athletics at Florida State produced coaches, players, and teams that are admired, beloved, and will be remembered when we celebrate the 100th anniversary of women's athletics. From the beginning, women's sports has fought to reach the standard it has today, with national championships held in packed stadiums, student athletes who become international sensations at the professional level, and competitions that inspire a passionate fan base. Maybe Mary Lou summed it up best when she wrote, "Women's athletics has become an evolution paralleling the rise of women in education and society. From protected non-voting ladies in well-defined roles of limited physical exertion, women have become hard-working, hard-playing, equal opportunity activists. The challenge here is keeping and advancing FSU's women's sports opportunities and rewards."
We may represent the past, but we are really looking forward to the future at Florida State for women's athletics.
Happy anniversary.
Go Noles!